I just wanted to clarify this, because consistently over and over and over I keep hearing I had no legal rights whatsoever to my child, and this is a court order. The court orders the visitation between Mr. Becker and his daughter be in a supervised setting. Mr. Becker submit to a psychological, chemical dependency, and anger management assessment. That the parental rights of Matthew Becker as it relates to Kayla Michelle Becker not be terminated. The court finds that the guardian ad litem has fulfilled the duties and obligations and whatever program and the assigned guardian ad litem Sandy Leroy in this matter. Now, it does not say Mr. Becker has to submit to a psychological, chemical dependency or anger management prior to seeing his kid supervised or in order to see his kid supervised. The visits between Mr. Becker and his daughter be in a supervised setting. Mr. Becker submit to psychological, chemical dependency, and anger management. And the parental rights of Mr. Becker as it relates to Kayla Michelle Becker not be terminated. It doesn't say I have to submit to anything before I could get any type of rights of visiting my kid. Just said I have to do it. No time frame, no time limit, no restriction on when or whatever needs to be done by whatever time. Just had to do one. Now, none of that should I ever had to do or submit to or anything whatsoever. It's just a vindictive person saying whatever, and you got no choice. You got to jump through hoops and sit there and constantly defend yourself, and it's over and over and over, allegation after allegation after allegation, non-stop. So it never said that I had to do it in order to see my kid. I didn't have to do no psychological, chemical dependency or no anger management in order to see my kid. It's court ordered I see my kid supervised in a supervised setting. Bottom line, it doesn't say I have to submit or do anything prior in order to see her that way. No. And my parental rights were never terminated. And this is a letter that was written with that order due to Chrissy Sullivan, which is Chrissy Watney now, because she's married to the convicted child molester, Jeffrey Michael Watney. She's writing this letter to the judge, claiming she shouldn't have to pay for any of the fees or anything to do with the guardian ad litem or custody evaluator due to I made this problem, I made this mess. I wasn't the one that went to court and lied and did all this. I was just trying to see my daughter, and I had to do what I was supposed to do to obtain legal grounds on this legal system we have set in place in order just to see my kid supervised. This is a letter she writes to the judge. The reason why I'm writing you this letter is to inform you of a bill that is owed on my behalf and to explain why I feel this bill should be entirely Matt's debt. Matt brought me into court. What else was I supposed to do? To try and gain custody. No, just trying to gain my legal rights and be able to see my daughter. I wasn't trying to steal the kid or get custody and or anything like that. Just my legal rights and be able to see my daughter. Up to that point, Matt has voluntarily removed himself from her life completely, and still to this day has not, financially or otherwise, when it comes to the raising of her. I have provided copies of police reports. Again, accusations of physical violence. Just because you write something on a piece of paper and submit it to court doesn't mean it actual true. It doesn't make it legal binding or it's court record, so it's got to be true. And then want to go into kidnapping Kayla. At least 2 times from her father on 2 different occasions. One of the times in particular where me and my mother kept Kayla for almost 48 hours without her consent. It was more like she abandoned the kid, took off, hit my mom's car in the street, dragged my half-brother's girlfriend halfway down our driveway, and then drove home drunk, and then waited a few hours before she went to the police department because I refused to go and wake our daughter up, put her in a car seat after we were drinking so she could drive home with her like that. Find it very convenient is the time when she goes and files a restraining order is right when I'm getting my legal rights to see my kids supervised, and before she sets up anything with any safety center to see my kids supervised. Once the court orders, I get 2 hours every other weekend. Between that time and the time she was supposed to go and fill out paperwork for me to see our daughter the first time supervised, she goes and files a restraining order. Now how convenient is that? So, of course, this is supposed to be confidential. So you talk about ex parte communication, or no judge is supposed to make any ruling with ex parte communication, right? So a letter that's stamped confidential. Mr. Becker, enclosed, please find a copy of the letter that Ms. Sullivan submitted to the judge on March 28th. This letter, in addition to the Gardner-Lightem report, was the basis for Judge Meyer's order dated October 4th. If you need advice regarding this matter, you should contact an attorney. That's ex parte communication. Judge looking at her side of it and making an order and then just mailing it to me and saying, here's an order. So like in this Burnsville Police Department incident report, Chrissy and Matthew Becker share a daughter, Kayla. Been separated approximately 17 years. At that time, Matthew was allowed supervised visits at a safety center, but he did not follow the court rules. And Chrissy was granted full physical and legal custody. So, again, May 10, 2022, again makes an accusation that I had no legal rights. Note, I always had sole physical and legal custody of Kayla. Declined to pursue any custody or parenting time. Again, wants to claim I had no legal rights. Do not attempt to contact Kayla again through Facebook or any other means. If you do, I will call the police. I've already filed reports against your brother and your mother for the stunt they pulled on Concord, and again for your mother approaching her last weekend. I will continue calling the police every single time any of you bother any of us. Kayla does not want to know any of you and is in fear of all of you. Stop scaring her. You have zero rights. And if all of you do not leave us alone, I will not hesitate to do everything in my power to make sure you end up behind bars where you belong. Like your pathetic brother. This is the only warning that you will get. And I could not be any more serious. Stop harassing and stalking. And now is not that time. Oh, she will contact you when she is ready to have a relationship with you. As she tries to file papers to change Kayla's last name, July 5th, 2021. Her legal name is Becker, but I would like to have it changed to Sullivan to avoid any more negative feelings and or confusion about her feeling somehow distant or an outsider from my side of the family. The side that has always been there for her. Why would her family members make Kayla feel like an outsider? That's got nothing to do with me or any control or anything to do with me whatsoever. Why would her family make her feel like an outsider? Unbelievable. That's her family making her feel unwanted, unwelcomed, or an outsider. That's got nothing to do with me. Kayla has cried to me on more than one occasion about feeling different from rest of her family because she carries the name of a stranger, a name that makes every single person in my immediate family cringe when they hear it out loud. Wow. So you make your daughter feel like carrying that last name, your family cringes at her? And that's got something to do with me? Your family's actions have something to do with me? Needless to say, the name is well known, and not for any good reason, especially since Micah, Kayla's uncle, is required to register as a sex offender. What does my brother have to do with any of this? This is not something that I want Kayla to be associated with or exposed to. To me, life has already been hard enough. And to be completely honest, I feel that having the last name of Becker and the association that comes with it will only cause her difficulty and hardship. Because your family puts difficulty and hardship on her? Wow. Wow. Needless to say, this is not something that I want Kayla to be associated with or exposed to. A sex offender. Well, my brother, whatever, beat up his kid's mom, which was an adult, someone that was over 18, not his own kid. On the other hand, definitely don't want her around or exposed to this. Right? Yep. Yep, her signature. Yep. Don't want her around or exposed to this. What did this guy do? This guy used to clean his daughter up with a wash rag when he was done. Read the police report. This guy used to play with his 4-year-old daughter with a dildo. This guy here, Jeffrey Michael Watney, which is now Christina Sullivan, which is now Christina Watney, her husband. That's right. Pack my kid up in a car seat and go visit this guy when my daughter was only not even a year old. Not even a year old. And this guy, at that point, just got charged and was only dealing with the legal dilemma for 6 months, to the point where Chrissy Sullivan packing our kid up into a car seat to go meet this guy for a date, and my kid was not even a year old, 9 months old, to go meet this guy. Knew about this before he even got sentenced on it. She was already seeing him and dating him and having my kid around him. Don't want a kid around it or exposed to something like this. This guy was having his face buried between his own kid's legs. Sick, perverted, pedophile fucking piece of shit. Yeah. And don't want your kid exposed to this. But hid this the whole time. Hid this the whole time from me. Dakota County Courts, the probation officers, child protection. Hid it from me the whole time. Never informed me, contacted me, or even had me aware of this at all. Found out on my own right before my daughter turned 18 about this. And to think this piece of shit's been around my kid this whole time. And Dakota County probation officers knew it the whole time. They knew who I was. They knew where I was. They knew how to get a hold of me. They knew everything. They had copies of legal rights. And lied and lied and lied when I questioned them. Over and over and over. Endlessly amount of times. Deceitful. Abuse of power. To think all this time that I haven't seen my daughter and to find out this is what's been around my kid. Definitely not letting it go. And accountability, 100%. They've already taken everything from me. Destroyed anything that I can have any kind of relationship with my daughter. I'm not some deadbeat piece of shit dad. I filed papers over and over and over to see my kid. Over and over and over. And allegation after allegation after allegation. Constantly had to defend myself. All that BS to make me look like something in order to hide this. Waste my time on other BS and to think, try to make me look bad. You can never ever make me look any worse than this. This is the bottom of the barrel. And to put this around your kid and knew it and were aware of it and was visiting him in jail the whole time before he even got sentenced, was visiting and around him and had my kid around this guy. A fucking pedophile. Christina Sullivan Watney. 2308 West Burnsville Parkway, Burnsville, Minnesota. Gets to have a park in his backyard. This pedophile has been able to get away and do whatever he wants. Not on no sex offender registry list. So no one can look him up, no one can be aware of it. You try to look it up or Google his court records and it says it's a closed case, which it's not. He's on probation until 2029. Due to Joel Watney, who used to be the Assistant Attorney General, or Mary J. Threeson, who was a Scott County judge and then became a Dakota County judge. The judge who sentenced him took his plea and closed the case all on the same day. Who used to be the Assistant Attorney General right before Joel Watney in Minnesota. Joel Watney, Jeff Watney. The judge that comes in, takes his plea, sentences him, convicts him, and closes the case on the same day. The Assistant Attorney General of Minnesota prior to Joel Watney. Talk about favoritism? I don't know. This dude can write a letter to the judge and get whatever he wants. And she gives him legal advice on top of it. Never ever in any of my proceedings of the endless amount of times I've been to court have I ever had anything remotely, not even 100% of the favoritism that this child molester has gained and gotten with physical fact proof by court orders.